Hello.
Audio.
Audio.
Hello.
Audio. Okay.
Beautiful.
Camera.
I feel really zenned out now.
Wait, hold on. I don't know how what happened.
What? What?
I'm scared. What happened?
Where did? Okay. No.
Moeka's hiding.
Yeah,
Moeka, she's just shy.
She wasn't
just doesn't.
hiding a second ago. I don't
Uh-oh.
understand.
Just hiding. It's fine.
What happened?
It's like your camera isn't there for some reason, even though
Oh, weird.
it
Let
was.
me...
No, it's like mine.
When I look at the preview, we're like glitching a lot.
Like Moeka. No, that's me turning the cameras on and off to try and find.
Oh, okay. Because like your image keeps like snapping in half. Like it keeps like getting
Doing
really
it?
messed up.
Yeah. See,
Oh, that is
confused.
weird.
I'm confused because Moeka was on and now she's not. I don't know where she went. I'm very confused. So, hold on.
I promise. It was normal before
it
we
was,
started.
It was 100% normal. I clicked nothing. I don't know what happened between this and switching over. There we go.
Oh,
yay!
Can you do it?
There.
Oh.
Okay. That was so
tasty.
Okay,
weird.
Beautiful.
But you guys know
Excellent.
what? It wasn't my fault. It was a glitch. That's all.
It was.
Yeah.
Was it?
It was not Erin. Erin didn't do nothing. Write it down.
Erin
The
did
burp
nothing.
betrayed me.
Hashtag Erin did nothing. Hashtag blame Erin. No.
Oh
No, the opposite.
opposite.
Well, welcome to MangaPod. I'm Erin.
I'm Dodger.
And I'm Moeka.
And I'm Lou. We are MangaPod. We're a weekly podcast which we all get together after we've read all or part of a manga and we discuss with friendship, love, lots and lots of spoilers. This week we are talking Out No Flag or Blue Flag. The rest of it we talked about it last week, chapters 1 through 33, and this week we are doing chapters 34 through 54, which is the final chapter. So we loved it so much that we were like, let's just finish it because we didn't realize it was so short last week. So we were like, let's just hop in and do 2 weeks straight of it so that we can finish it out.
I literally, Erin will attest to this. I literally, the second MangaPod was done, just sat down and finished it and was texting her like, I'm crying.
It's so good.
She's like, I'm looking for fan art and there's none.
There's no fan art. How is there no fan art? I'm so mad. Anyways, yeah, we loved it a lot. Spoiler. So we wanted to talk about it again. And I read it. I literally read it the same day and finished it.
That was, when we read it last week, I just couldn't stop. I just went through and read it all. I was like, and I got to the end, I didn't even realize it.
Yeah,
I read all of it
before
our first manga.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'll like finish up before I go to bed. So then that way I don't like forget details. And then I just couldn't stop. And then by the time I checked the time again, it was like, oh, it's time for MangaPod. Okay.
And I know Lou said something similar. I don't think he finished it before last MangaPod, but he was like, if I had had more time, I 100% would have gone through
Lou
it.
loved it too.
Finish it.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't heard of Out No Flag, let's go ahead and we'll read the description for you. If you've never joined us before, we'll give you a spoiler-free description of Out No Flag, the manga that we read, and then we'll give you our spoiler-free recommendations. So we kind of already did that because we love it so much that it's it's hard not to just gush about our love. And then we'll let you guys know when we're getting into spoiler section. Once we get to spoiler section, well, actually, never mind. I was going to say, usually we say, please don't spoil anything past the chapter that we read, but we read all of it. So, spoilers.
These blessed episodes where we don't have to worry about somebody harshing the buzz. I'm so excited.
So, we ask that you don't spoil anything until we get to spoiler section in the chat, though. Please. All right. I'm going to go ahead and read the description for How No Flag. High school senior year, spring, one of life's important forks. I almost said folks. Forks in the road. Taichi finds himself in the same class as Futabe, who he feels strangely averse to, and his popular childhood friend Toma. One day, Futaba confides in him her love for Toma and asks him for help. How will Taichi respond? The new pure love story begins as these three are colored in the emotions of youth. That's it.
Mwah.
Short and succinct.
Spoiler free.
And short and succinct.
Yeah. Spoiler free recommendations. It's fantastic. Go read it.
It's so good. It's worth it. Every chapter. It's so short. So short. So well done. So unique and refreshing in the genre that it is in. So.
Yes.
So they horny and want to fuck.
Not exactly.
Not quite. No.
Stick around for spoiler section.
Ay. I don't know why I raised my coffee mug like it was like a beer.
Hey! Spoilers. I love them. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so we spoiler for obviously, and I will say if you missed last week's episode, we all gave it a 9 out of 10. So
yes.
If that gives you any more input before going into the spoiler section, if you want to take your leave so you don't get spoiled about anything, then we totally understand. You can come back and watch the VOD of this on youtube.com/happilyerin, or you can listen to it on Spotify or iTunes or anywhere you do audio streaming. So, cool. Let's do our countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Just the manga is God.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
The
whole
whole
thing.
manga.
Oh
The,
my God.
colors of the emotions of youth are God. Who's the mushroom-headed dude? He's God.
He is. Oh, I don't. Yorkie.
I can't remember that guy.
Yoki.
Is it Yorkie? He's great.
Yorkie? Yeah, like the dog.
Yeah, like the dog, like a Yorkshire Terrier mushroom boy.
The Yorkie dog.
Anyways.
It's kind of hard to, because usually, if you've never joined us before, the question we like to begin with in spoiler section is, what were you expecting going into the manga? So it's a little bit different because two of us like breeze through it, so we don't really have any expectations for in between where we started. But I guess I could say, because I read up to chapter, I think it was 33, in 2018. And I actually caught all the way up in the last chapter that I had read was the part with Mommy. Shit, what's her name?
Yes.
Yeah. Was her backstory, which is fucking
Which
good.
is where we stopped the first time.
And so going back to read it, I did have I had some expectations about how am I going to experience this part a second time, and then what is the ending going to be. And I really liked the rest of the half that we read. I didn't feel disappointed by the next 20 chapters that I hadn't gotten a chance to read yet. Go ahead. Go.
Yeah, it was like, okay, I went in expecting it to end quite differently.
Yeah, same.
But when it ended, I will say that the way it ended was not how I was expecting, and I can see it pissing off a lot of people, specifically if they weren't expecting it to end that way. But I completely understand why the mangaka would end it that way, because it's a show. I mean, it is a Shonen Jump title, so I know that, especially in Japan, there's like they can only push it so far currently. So I thought for what they did, I was surprised that they even went for it, honestly. So for me, I was still pretty happy with how it ended.
And the ending is it ends up with Toma and Taichi being endgame couple.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm confused because it does end with like them together.
Yeah. What are
Right?
you confused on?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm confused because the way that Moeka was saying it, it sounded like they discarded that at the end, but they didn't.
What? Okay, I have an idea, but Moeka, I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Oh no. Well, I was not expecting them to have Taichi endgame.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, oh, they're just gonna go for the straight, like, oh, the straight couple wins again. Because I mean,
Right.
it is a shonen title, so it's just like, So when I saw that they both got married to each other, the two boys, then I was just like, oh my god, my heart! This is what I was wanting from the beginning.
Well, I really liked that. Erin and I were talking about how we were like, for me, more than anything, as much as I was like, oh, they were together in the end, that's so sweet. Like, more than anything, I was really happy that in the like jump forward, it was like, yeah, we were together for a couple of years, and then we parted ways, and we stopped dating, and we were still very close, and like how realistic that is to like date somebody in high school and be like, we can make it work past high school, and then be like, but we're still growing, like past high school, you're still growing, you're still turning into a different person.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I was just like, oh, that's actually not great. It's not like I was like rooting for them to fail, but like I found it to be more realistic that like this situation that they had established of like, you're my best friend and you're my future wife and it's all going to be fine. Like that fell apart within a couple of years,
Yeah.
I thought that was really refreshing too, where I was just like, whoa, what? That doesn't happen. Like, but a lot of manga, especially high school romance, you don't see the after high school part. There's so much like it ends on a note of we love each other and we want to be together forever. And then there it goes. And there's nothing wrong with that. But to have a manga that's so focused on these two characters like Kuze and Taichi figuring out like what they want to do, and they're in this relationship and they talk about going to the same university, they talk about having a future together. So then to have it very bluntly at the start, was it at the, I can't remember if it was at the end of a chapter or at the very beginning, where it's just like 2 years later we broke up. I was like, what?
Yeah, I think it was at the end of the second to last chapter, maybe, or no, because the very last chapter was the wedding.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think one of the reasons that I appreciated the way that it ended is because there was such a focus. Obviously, it would be classified as like a romance story, right? But there was such a focus on like friendship, like how strong of a friendship can you have with somebody. And I loved that in this like future chapter where Kuze is getting married to someone, I loved that it established like she still like cares about all of them very much and they're all still very close. It's just that her life went in a different direction, and we got to like see how everybody's lives have gone in different directions, but that like the friendship, whether it's like strong or not as strong anymore, was still there.
After I finished, I went and looked up some other people's like reviews of it, especially of the last chapter. And one of the biggest critiques that I saw people had about the last chapter, and this might have been where I was reading too, that they didn't like how it was told from Toma's point of view. And so we don't get to see the relationship with Taichi in the same way we got to see like Kuze's relationship like at the wedding and stuff, and so we didn't get much more from the couple of Taichi and Toma other than them holding hands at the end. And so I feel like that was a really big critique I saw from a lot of people, is that they didn't get to see that affection play out or have it be shown.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I mean, I'm not saying I agree with that, but that was definitely a reoccurring critique that I saw happen.
It was definitely an easy workaround for them to not, for the mangaka to kind of skirt around having to do that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, storyline wise, to me, it also kind of, because like they did the whole like, oh man, who would have thought there were 2 weddings on the same day, right? Like we both went to different weddings. The fact that like Taichi didn't go to Kuze's wedding, like chose a different wedding to go to. What?
I cry.
Oh, I was like, what was?
No, sorry. I cry. 'Cause, okay, look. At the end of the day, it's like they're obviously still very close together. So it really is just like super unfortunate timing, which is like, I don't know. It matches like what we talked about. It's like super realistic. Like shit isn't perfect, and sometimes people do make like super important plans on the same date. And so it's just kind of like you do kind of have to pick and choose.
Shoot, what was the tall black-haired girl's name? Itachi. I actually really loved the moments we got with her in the last chapter. Like, really loved them. Because I can't remember if it was in this reading or not, the whole section with Aki, their whole conversation.
Yeah, it was this section.
I loved that whole thing. Their whole conversation was very sweet. And I liked that at the end, I think that like her having married a guy, I loved that the conversation that was had with this guy when she like walked away, you could tell that she had been really open with him about herself, and like him being able to kind of like almost jokingly be like, you know, like out of all of the men or women in the world, like she chose me, and like that means a lot. Like goes to show you that like she told him, you know, like I'm bisexual, right?
No bi erasure. No bi erasure.
Yeah,
it was very sweet.
Because I know that I know for some of the reviews it was like, but she was a lesbian, and it was just like she never like specified that.
Right.
So it's just like I thought, I don't know, it felt very realistic to me, because it was like Kuze was her first like girl crush that made her realize, maybe I'm not quote unquote normal, and I like other things as well. Because I know. Yeah, I know when I was younger, I had like a similar situation where it was just like, maybe I only like girls, and then it wasn't later until I realized, oh no, I like both. I don't really care. And so it was, for me, her story, the way it ended even, was still really good.
Yeah.
So
I was very happy for her. She like, for her storyline was entirely, I guess for both of them, was like, we just want to be free to be ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And so to like use kind of a casual back and forth with her now husband to show like she can be free with this person, like he knows everything about her and loves her, and she loves him. Like I really liked that.
Yeah, because I think what made me realize maybe like that maybe she wasn't a lesbian was the fact that she was dating other guys, and it was that last relationship that we were shown where she was crying, because that gave me an impression of, maybe she does like that guy a lot, but it's her not knowing, like, oh, but I still like Kuze. Maybe I
like Kuze more than all
I
these
like
guys.
Kuze more, yeah. So maybe it's like I'm trying like me trying to figure out if I like guys as well is like maybe that's like some sort of weird like thing of me trying to still be normal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which I totally relate to that. Like Moeka was saying, like when you're in high school, it's hard to know like what your feelings are and like to describe them, because especially like you get pigeonholed or told like, well, this is the normal feeling. Like you're supposed to be in love with guys. Like that's how it works, and you're supposed to have these emotions for dudes. And I always just remember being like, I don't, this isn't like a crush. Like I feel like I'm being told to be in love with, to like these dudes and like get feelings for them, where as like the person I first fell in love with was a girl, and it's like, oh, well, that can't possibly be the right feeling. Like the feelings are so different, and you look at them now and it's like, oh, there's a reason it was different. It's because I was in love with a girl versus these guys was just like, oh, I'm supposed to like them.
Yeah.
And it's just a very confusing time when there's not as much openness about it. And so that was something that I loved about Aki's conversation with her. And then also Toma's brother with him too, is that it's showing that times are changing and perspectives are changing. And so it makes it easier to try and like accept who you are and accept what kind of love you feel for people.
Yeah.
His conversation with his brother was like still a little weird, and I think it was supposed to be, but like he still very much was pushing this idea of like there is a way that you're meant to behave in Japan, right? Like there's a way that you need to fit into society, and like as long as you're happy and can fit into society, then like that's fine. So like the conversation, that one was still kind of odd for me. But I realized that that's like a really strong mentality in Japan, right? Like is this like we are a system kind of a thing?
Yeah.
You know, not as much focus on like the individual. So yeah, him being like a lawyer and having like fully integrated into like, this is where I fit in. I get him in that conversation wanting to be like, you need to figure out where you fit in and not make waves, you know. It's rough.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no.
I was just gonna say, I think for both him and Itachi, it's also like, I think the reason, or at least for Itachi, the reason her male relationships failed is because she couldn't be open with them, and she was scared of them not being open-minded. And so I think it was like partly her being like, I really like Kuze more than these guys, but I think she also was just like, well, I like these dudes, but I can't be open with them. So I'm too scared to see if they'd be willing to like be open to the idea of me being bi and not making it like such a big deal. And her just being afraid to pursue it. And so that's why it was like, I like these dudes, but I can't, at this moment, I just can't be open enough to keep pursuing this. And it hurts me to hide myself essentially from them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For people in chat who aren't quite sure what sections that we did read, we had the big one at the start was finding out that Toma, he openly admits that the person he likes is Tachi. And that leads into
at the school festival.
And then that leads into Toma confessing to Taichi, and then Taichi dealing with the aftermath. And the whole, actually not even just him, like everybody kind of dealing with the aftermath of that entire thing. So this section was the climax of everything that had built up before that, and it was emotional. I thought this half was super well written, and especially Taichi's point of view. And I'm trying to think, I didn't like relate to him, but watching him go through these emotions and having the like breakdown after he's standing there like, am I the villain? Like, why am I being treated so badly simply because I don't know how to react to this emotion? Like, he was going through figuring out himself too, because he has this new world that kind of got open that he was thrown into. Like, he wasn't prepared to having to handle those feelings and that emotion. And people are like, well, why haven't you responded? Like, why aren't you being friends with him? Why are you mad about it? And I just felt it. I don't know.
Yeah. Like him trying to, like with anything, regardless of whether like your emotions are correct or not, right? You still have to work through them and even figure out why you feel that way. And it was interesting watching Taichi like continue to have to go to school while everyone around him is talking about it, and him still like not really having an opportunity to process it or understand how he feels at all. And I thought that the mangaka did a really good job of having scenes where two people with completely different opinions had conversations. There were a lot of like no holding back sort of conversations between people who were like deeply homophobic. And I was like, man, that must have been really difficult to write. Like, I don't even know how you would approach that really as a writer.
Yeah. And it would be so easy to villainize and be like, this person's feelings are right and this person's feelings are obviously wrong. But the big part of the story is people's feelings are valid and people get to feel those things. And so it does really good of explaining the character's point of view without necessarily villainizing and making them evil or anything like that. Because like we did have that conversation of Taichi with Toma's friends.
Toma's friends and Mommy's friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about that section?
It was interesting because like obviously there were opinions in that conversation where I was like, yeah, obviously I agree with these characters, right?
Yeah.
It was interesting because it was very long. Like it was a really long conversation. And by the end of it, it's not that everybody agreed with each other, but it was more like some of the characters understood each other a bit better. It was almost like it would be totally unrealistic for somebody who would react with like immediate disgust to this whole situation. Like it would be unrealistic for that person to have one conversation and suddenly be like, you know what, you're right, gay people are fine. Like that wouldn't make any sense. But you at the end of that conversation, I feel like you start to see like him being willing to think about it differently, or at least approach it differently. And so for the conversation to be that long and that like emotionally draining even to the reader, and then at the end be like, and we didn't take too many steps forward really at the end of that. It was almost like a think piece, like that whole chapter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any feelings, Moeka?
It was like, yeah, like you guys said, it was very draining just because it's like, in some ways it's pretty realistic. And so even though it's like you don't agree with some of the opinions being said, you kind of understand it. And it also makes sense for like their age group, because before all of this, he's never met like a gay dude, probably, at least not an openly gay dude. And so for him, it must have been like pretty shocking. And so it does, like, if you've never been presented with that, it does take, for some people, it does take them a bit to be like, hey, okay, this is like such a weird thing to deal with. What the fuck? And then later on, them realizing, oh, back then when I was younger, wow, what a shitty way to like think about other people's like sexual preferences.
Yeah. He
And
also
so
he also admits that like he was molested later on in the conversation as well, and like admits that
yeah.
that probably is where a lot of this is coming from. And I think from there, it finally, somebody said the conversation tended to run in circles. I agree with that. And I feel like it was at that point that it was able to progress a bit better, that he was able to say, like, it's not that I hate him. It's not that I don't want to be friends with him. And it's not that I think that, like, he's disgusting. It's that, like, the idea of it, because of my life, like, I can't look at it objectively, basically, you know?
Yeah.
Which wound up, like, making a lot more sense, I think.
Which is kind of like the whole mommy situation where it's like you are expecting somewhere along the obviously in this storyline for someone to be like, I hate gay people or something like that. And so it kind of like circumvents your expectations a bit, because it's not just him like being like, I hate gay people because I don't want to be near them, blah blah blah. It's like, no, he has his own personal trauma that is causing him to have these like thoughts, which is like which is nice, especially in like shonen jump stuff, because they don't often touch on these matters.
This manga did so much stuff that after I read it, I would be like, this was in Shonen Jump. Like, that's wild. Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's so mind-blowing to think, holy shit, there's something like this that happened and is appealing to young readers in that age group. It's not like older generations who have kind of already passed and been through it. It's something that kids, teenagers can read and hopefully open their hearts to and their minds to, and kids can find some comfort in the storylines or like what's going on with it, and understand that struggle of learning who you are and learning what love is can be like an up and down. It's not something everybody has figured out.
Yeah. Which also, I from like looking up some of the Kaito stuff, it tends to seem that Jump likes cutting his stuff short. So, and
was this
I
cut
feel
short?
like it, from what I read, it seems like yes, this was like they were pushing for him to end it quickly. So it kind of makes sense that he kind of had to go with a time skip for the last half.
Right.
So it might explain why we didn't get like the relate like Kuze and Itachi, or not Itachi, Taichi's relationship like not being fleshed out more for their breakup and him like moving on.
Yeah. I think it would be valid to say that all went quickly, but I also, like Erin, I didn't expect us to go beyond high school at all. I literally expected them to have that sunset, like, you're my best friend, I want to date you, and that's it. End of manga. Like, that's kind of what I expected it to be. So the fact that we got any kind of like Harry Potter-esque a few years later was nice for me.
Yeah, definitely. Which, if this was cut a lot shorter than the mangaka was expecting, then I think they like wrapped it up pretty nicely, all things considering. Still, I felt pretty fulfilled.
Yeah. Somebody in chat brought up the beach scene where they all yell, "I love you."
It was so cute.
Oh my god, I know.
Yeah, we haven't really touched on Kuze this chapter or this section. So what did you guys think about her part in this last half?
I really felt for her because like she definitely is the sort of person to want everybody else to be happy. So like when the rumors started spreading and people started being like, because they should just like get out of the way so that they can be together, like that whole thing. It felt very, with her character being who she was up to that point, it felt very believable for her to kind of like in conversations be fishing with people like, I probably should just get out of the way, right? And I thought that she had a lot of conversations that I don't know if it was because of the way it was translated for me or what, but like some of her conversations, reading them, even up to that point, she like admitted that she just kind of felt like she had to choose one of them, and that she loved both of them, but she felt like she had to choose one of them. And that to me kept making me feel like in the end she did love them both, but more as a friendship.
Yeah.
Like the fact that that was brought up a couple of times in a couple different conversations, I was like, I don't know that she's even really like 100% on the Taichi train, right? Like I don't think that she is.
The way it read, it was like man, I really like, there were some things with Kuze that just clicked with me, because I feel like for my first relationship, it was like, oh, this boy showed interest first, maybe I'll never get, like, so far I've nobody's ever been interested in me because I'm like short and all these other like stupid like shit. And so maybe this is what I need to give a shot to, because I won't get anything else. And so I thought it was her being like, maybe I do love him. And then by the end of the relation, or like a few years later, it was like, I love you as a friend, and it's my first time dealing with love in general. So now I'm realizing, I love you as a friend, not a partner.
It's both of their first relationships, right? Yeah. Yeah. And I do like that. I think the only way that the ending, the way that it is worked, relied on the fact that Taichi never once, after finding out about what is his name? Tall boy. Toma. After finding tall boy.
Sorry.
You guys know. When you know, you know.
You know.
Like when he found out about Toma's feelings, there was never a scene where he was like, absolutely not. I'm disgusted by that. Like none of that ever happened. And so the conversations with Kuze, where Kuze was like, he hasn't decided, and everybody else being like, he has, and her being like, he hasn't. That stuff, like those scenes felt less like, Kuze, you need to chill out. He loves you. You're fine. And more like, she's very close with him at this point, and she realizes that like he is very conflicted, even if nobody else realizes it, you know?
Yeah, it's almost like she was like realizing, maybe he likes him in that manner and just doesn't know. Or like in her mind, it's like
never
maybe
like really considered it.
Yeah, and maybe it's like, maybe he feels trapped with me. So if I get in the way of that, then in the end, our relationship's gonna suffer, because I, quote unquote, I trapped him.
Right.
Which is like a really heavy like thought or feeling to be trapped with, essentially.
I really loved her section with Toma, where they had the angry compliment.
I wanted to bring that up too. I'm so glad you brought that up. Yeah.
Oh, it was so perfect for the characters because Kuze has a right to be mad. She's like, I am in a relationship. Like, what gives you the right at this point in time to come out and say that to him? And so it's another thing going back to being valid in your feelings and communicating, like talking them out and being willing to like, and that shows her growth too, because at the beginning she never would have done that.
Yeah, it showed a lot of growth for her to, and that she feels really close to Toma, that she felt like she could go to him and be like,
dude, what the fuck?
What the fuck? Yeah, dude, why? Come on. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And at the same time, like Toma's response of, there were already rumors and I didn't want him to be wondering. Like, I want him to know what's true and what isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I also get that, you know? So, yeah, their whole conversation was very cute. I also, sorry, I feel like I'm talking a lot. But
you're fine.
I also
good.
I also love that with all these people coming to him and being like, you're really smart, you should just go to school, that in the end Toma was like, no, I'm moving out and I'm just gonna get a normal ass job like I've been saying I want to this entire fucking time. And he literally moved away and got a normal ass job and lived away from home. And I was like, great. He's like for I'm sure what feels like the first time he's pursuing what he wants. You know?
Yeah, which is like, obviously I don't know what his, like, I didn't expect for us to go past high school. So for me it was just like, well, I'll just get a normal ass job, and then if I don't like it, he knows his family's supportive of him, whether he feels like it or not at that moment. Deep down, he knows that he does have a supportive family. So it's like, well, if fucking normal ass job life sucks ass, then I'll just go back and ask for help and go to fucking school, which is like, it's totally viable.
Totally. Gap year. Lots of people do it.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it. I'm not going to college yet. I don't know what's going on with me.
Right?
Yeah.
That age is so hard to.
I'm going to learn plumbing or something.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh shit, what was I gonna say? I did like, because I can't I mean, we just read it recently, but trying to remember the first half for some reason I'm struggling with. I feel like the chapter where we find out from Toma's point of view about how he fell in love with Taichi, I feel like that's the only chapter up until that point where we get his point of view as heavy as we did. Like,
we don't get a lot of Toma's point of view.
No.
Ever. Yeah.
So I think that's one of the things that made that chapter so effective, because we do finally are finally told this is why Toma is in love with him. And up to that point, we had seen the hints, like the going out of his way to make Taichi happy and smile. Toma's point of view of Taichi, of the way he found Taichi attractive. And that happened again in this section we talked about last week, is the mangaka uses the art idea of a character is looking at another character, and when they're in love, they find them differently attractive. Because Taichi's always drawn goofy and silly, and then you get him from Toma or Kuze's point of view, and he's just like beautiful and gorgeous and handsome. And so that was as close as we got to Toma explaining part of his feelings. And so to get a whole chapter diving into that, I thought was really effective, saving it for that point. Toma baby.
Toma. Oh my god. Okay, the little charm when Taichi opens it, oh my god. Oh my god, I cried.
Oh, dang. My heart. And the fact that he made it. It's just like,
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh. Yeah.
It was
yeah,
just like, oh my god, are you gonna open it? Are you gonna open it?
I was so
yeah.
I
glad
was
he
like,
did.
yeah, I'm so glad too, because I fully was just expecting he's just gonna leave it, and then Toma, like, he's never gonna find out why Toma like liked him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my heart, best friend power.
Best friend power. I also loved that, like, from the very beginning, from Toma's point of view, it was so much more important to maintain a friendship with Taichi.
Mm-hmm.
And like you can argue
Yeah.
that like you can argue that that's not help if you have romantic feelings for somebody for years and years and you just don't say anything, like that's not healthy for you personally, right? And it's you need to take care of yourself. But I do love that that for him, like the more important relationship was the best friend power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah, well, because the way I read it earlier when they hinted at this section
mm,
was that it was Taichi who had made like the friendship best friend spot that made everyone else gain points. And
right.
so them being like, no, it was actually Toma who made it, and it was because yes, he cares more about all of his friends being happy than him like gaining an advantage.
Yeah.
Oh, oh
He's such a
man.
sweet, tender boy.
Yeah.
And
Oh
I
my god,
love him.
the little chibi art of them doing like the infinity best friend power moves. I
So
died.
good.
Oh
It's
my
so
god.
good. Yeah.
Man, when they showed Taichi crying though, I lost it. I was like, no.
I can't remember all the times I cried, but I cried a lot.
Yeah.
I
Same.
had like a long meeting to do after I was reading this manga.
Oh
And I
no.
was on like the last chapter, tissues everywhere, texting Erin, like, fuck, just sobbing and thinking to myself, I'm supposed to be on a video call with like 6 other people in like 5 minutes. It's like, it's fine. I'm going to finish this goddamn wedding chapter. I have to.
Oh, I know. I had a lot of tearing up. I think like the big one for me was when Taichi had the breakdown where he was just destroying his room. And I was just
Yeah.
like, shit, it was just played out, like written so well. And we haven't really touched on the art again. But the mangaka for the serious chapters did so much not even using words. Like there wasn't very many dialogue chapters in Taichi's big like aftermath of being confessed to. So
Yeah.
it just made it so much more effective because it's like that is what's going through his brain right now is he's just white noise, like black, just the emotion of needing to destroy because he's just so overwhelmed with everything and he's so angry that he's been put in this situation and he's confused because he never realized it before and he doesn't know what to do with those feelings.
Yeah.
And so I feel like the lack of dialogue in those chapters, I felt the emotions hit a lot harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought with those chapters, I know that we've already kind of said this, but like the way that it was written and drawn really did like their lack of breathing room was portrayed really well. You know, of like whether this happened publicly at school to the most popular dude and ended in a fist fight and got a bunch of people suspended or not, it would still be like a hard situation, right? So the fact that all of those other things are attached to it is like everybody knows, everybody's talking about it, and I have literally no room to breathe and like think about it clearly at all. And how frustrating that is.
Feelings.
But hey, everybody's happy in the end.
That is
Yeah.
true.
We got lots of really cute tableaus of like all of the characters at the end, and it was very sweet.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, yeah.
all the even like little side characters from high school. We got like little like here's them like
Yeah.
crushing it at their job or with their baby or like whatever. And I was like, life goes on. The wheel continues to turn, etc.
Etc. I did love that
Yeah.
mommy had a hairdressing and makeup. I was like,
Me too.
Yeah, I'm so glad that she got to
Perfect.
do her like
I was
dream
very
job.
happy for her. Yeah.
Do you guys have any other thoughts on the art? We kind of said, I mean,
It was consistent throughout. Like it was good. It was
Yeah.
there was nothing. I think what I said last time is there was nothing particularly like incredible about it. But it worked really well for this story and it was super clean and you could always tell what was going on and no
Mhm.
complaints.
Moeka?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was really clean when it needed to like have lots of details for to like have an impact. So like the fireworks, like the big reveal of Taichi and Toma being married, like all the details were there. It was super easy to read. I never got like confused between any of the characters. Or at least for like the important characters.
Yeah.
So I was pretty happy with it.
Cool. Awesome. Do you guys have anything else you would like to bring up? Otherwise, we can do final thoughts and ratings.
I think I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah. I will say for the reveal, I did think it was really smart to not show who was at Kuze's wedding.
Yes.
And then it just
yes.
and them only signing the last name because it like I had to go back and reread it because by the end of it I was like, wait a minute. If he's here, he wasn't at Kuze's wedding. Who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Who's
And
signing as his name?
I was gonna say Toma took Taichi's last name. I was like,
Yes!
stop!
Oh my god! Which is really funny to me because because then you get into like who's the top, who's the bottom, and it's like, well, he's the big buff dude, so obviously he's the top, so they're gonna take his last name.
Switching
So I was really
dynamics.
happy.
I was so wondering where you were going
Yeah,
with this. I was
yeah.
like, how do tops and bottoms relate to who takes whose name? I don't know. And then we got there.
We figured
So-
it out.
Yes, full circle. So yeah, I'm glad that that he ended up taking Taichi's name because it's just like, oh, he's a soft boy, please.
Oh shit.
On that
Mhm.
note, final thoughts and ratings.
I would
I
still
love
give it a
it.
9 out of
Oh my
10,
gosh,
I
you're
think.
so
Like
funny.
I really enjoyed the entire thing. Could it have been just like a little bit longer? Like could the ending have been spaced out a little bit more? Yeah, I think I probably would have enjoyed that quite a bit if we had a little bit more time with the end. But if it was canceled and this is the way that it wound up being like wrapped up with a cancellation or with them being like you have this many chapters left, like finish it up. I still think it was solid. I really enjoyed it. I thought that overall, like, we don't get manga that starts off being like, this is about romance and then winds up being much more about like friendships, right? Like that
Mhm.
really did wind up being the big takeaway for me is all of these conversations about like who can and can't be friends and like how strong is friendship and do you love friends the same way that you love significant others. And like I thought all of those conversations were so nice to see in a high school manga. Like it was great. So yeah, it's a 9 out of 10. Solid. I loved it a lot.
Yeah, I I really enjoyed the ride. I loved a lot of the characters. So still a 9 out of 10 for me. I could see where some people may have been disappointed with how like quickly the end progressed. But I love being able to like see what characters are doing in their adult lives. So I'm glad that we got to see, even if it's just like a snippet, it's more than enough for me to be like, oh, I'm glad this is where they're at and they have a long future together.
Did anybody? Sorry.
Yes.
Did anybody kiss?
I don't think we got any kisses in this now.
Yeah. Okay.
I think there were exactly zero kisses.
Okay. I was just like, you guys were talking, and then I went romance, and then I went, holy shit, I don't think we got a single kiss, which isn't a bad thing. Just thinking about it, I found that very shocking. Anyway.
Well, I also think it might be to do with like PDA being a big no-no in Japan. So I think it was like for high schoolers or whatever, them talking about like the hand holding only like
right.
It was like it's more of like, oh, it's a thing girls do because they're girls and they get to be cutesy in public. But anyone else that does it, disgusting.
Right.
Because we saw like a few nondescript school couples and them like holding hands and people be like, what the fuck? These fucking losers. What are they doing? No PDA.
Right. Yeah.
And then I also think like that I think the mangaka talking about like, oh, some of these characters are definitely out having sex. I think it's just like, yeah, being like super displaying like kisses and stuff. Maybe it was like, well, they already talked about like them pushing other boundaries, so don't really need to push it with like actual kissing and whatnot being shown in a quote unquote jump series.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I don't know why I thought about that, but 9 out of 10 for me too. I feel like everything that you guys touched on. I loved the story. I loved the emotional moments. They hit just right. It's something so unique that I think is going to help a lot of kids, especially in the age group that it's aimed at. And I don't know, it was just a beautiful series. It was really well done. Like Dodger said, if this wasn't intended to be the last chapter and was supposed to go on longer, I absolutely would have been down for that. But I also didn't feel like the ending ruined anything, and I really liked it. And so it's up there for a very favorite manga, I think. I loved it. So it's a 9 out of 10 for me too. It's a very solid series. So yeah, that wraps up our
I can't wink, so I have to
I can't either. I can't either. Did I don't even know if I did it.
I have to go really hard on it.
My this eyebrow always moves.
Oh my god. Anyways.
That wraps up our discussion on Ow No Flag. We are going to go ahead and read the description for the manga that we are reading next week. And everyone in chat gets to guess what it is. And Moeka and I also get to guess what it is.
I didn't tell them what it is either.
It's going to be Duger's birthday pod. So
yeah.
We don't have idea.
Here we go. Summary time. Once the bullies target you, it's game over. This school is run by tyrants whose favorite hobby is tormenting the weakest kids in class. But then blank arrives. This mysterious new student threatens to dismantle the established order. He may be small in stature, but his calculative and brutal fighting leaves unsuspecting opponents lying on the floor begging for mercy. Now the school's toughest bullies have to scramble to take down this new, unusual hero.
I have no clue.
Eyebrow wiggle. Eyebrow wiggle. Eyebrow wiggle. I will give you a hint. It is a manhwa.
Oh.
Wait.
That'd probably be why I don't know.
Have you texted
wiggle.
me about it before?
I might have.
Well.
I will tell you in just a minute here. I'll give you one more minute. Erin, you have 1 minute. You have 1 minute to find it.
We send too many TikToks to each other.
We text too much.
It's not happening. I can't get it. I can't find it.
Okay. It is called Weak Hero. You can read it for freezy on Webtoon. And we are going to be reading chapters 1 through 37.
Perfect.
Ooh.
It's basically I found it just on a whim while browsing through Webtoon, and it is currently one of the top Webtoon action manhwa.
Oh.
And I've enjoyed it a lot. So we're reading it for my birthday.
Yay! Awesome.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Cheers.
I'm definitely cheering.
I was gonna say.
I believe you.
I trust you. Cool. Well, if you guys, we'll go around and shout out stuff really quick. If you guys would like to get more MangaPod, we have a subreddit, reddit.com/r/MangaPod. And you can also listen to us on audio streaming like Spotify and iTunes. And we have a website, mangapod.card.co, 2 R's. We have Twitter and Instagram as well, so you can go check us out over there. On Twitter, we tweet about what we're reading, and we tweet clips of episodes and all of that fun stuff. And that Moeka does the subtitling for, and they're great.
Yeah, the next one will be finished here after this because I finally have free time. Also,
it always
no rush.
Yeah, there's
no
never
rush,
any
dude.
rush on them.
I know that someone said no MangaPod Discord yet. We don't have like
we've
a
never talked about
manga.
doing a Discord.
Yeah, we don't have a
it.
MangaPod only. If you want notifications through Discord on my server, I have that set up. I can see about setting up MangaPod only Discord though. If we wanted
A
to.
MangaPod only Discord might be like a good alternative to Reddit. To have like a recommendations like channel inside of a Discord and stuff like that. It might be nice.
Okay.
We could talk about doing that for sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can start setting that up then. Because I know you can also put like a little mini widget on Reddit for Discord, and it like shows like, oh, this many users online in the Discord, and then people can sign up for Discord if they'd prefer it over Reddit.
Yeah. I avoid Reddit like the plague most of the time.
Yeah,
so.
I haven't really been going on it either. Just like Facebook. I'm just like, I'm so overwhelmed with everything that's going on.
Yeah. So
if we wanted
to do that, I'm on Discord all the time. So yeah, we could definitely talk about doing that.
Yeah. So keep an eye out on Twitter, and we'll probably talk about that. So we'll figure something out with that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
To shout out personal stuff, I'm Erin. I have a YouTube channel, Happily Erin. It's basically the MangaPod channel right now, which is totally fine. I also have a Twitter and an Instagram if you would like to come over and chat with me on that.
I'm Dodger. I'm a streamer. I stream almost every day. You can find me at twitch.tv/DexBonus and DexBonus on pretty much everything. And and I've got a cute family and a couple of cats, and that's it. That's my whole thing. So if you want to come hang out, it'd be amazing.
Wow. Hello, I'm Moeka. Me VTuber now, because I've never really liked being on webcam anyways.
Hell yeah.
So at least you get to see something. So I do streaming as well. I've kind of cut back on cosplay because with COVID, it's been too crazy to get stuff done.
That's fair.
I also talk about my husbandos and my gacha games on my Twitter. I also stream those if interested. I've been really going ham on Sinoalis. So yeah, feel free to follow me at MegaMoeka on pretty much any platform.
Yeah. And our other lovely pillar of the show is Lou. You can find him at Lou Talks Anime. He is sick, so he wasn't able to make it today. But he's lovely, and I'm sure he would love to have a high five and a hug from y'all. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Well, that wraps up this week's episode. Thank you all so much for coming and hanging out and talking out No Flag with us. It was always so much fun. We will be here next week talking
Week Hero, chapters 1 through 37, I think I wrote. Yeah,
Yes.
1 through 37. You can find all of it on Webtoons, which you can use on browser or on app.
Oh,
awesome.
I like that
Ooh.
browser
And it's legal.
option.
That's where
Yeah.
that's literally where it's posted. It's the right
Oh.
place for it. So
They have Tower of God on there too.
Yes.
I think. Yeah, they have a lot of really great series on there. Cool. Well, we will
someone asked. Sorry, someone asked.
week,
oh,
like
okay,
physically
Roger
week.
got it. Okay.
Do you mean
WEAK.
Do you mean
week?
weak
Floppy
whales?
I mean whale hero.
Oh my god.
Bye.
Yes, good. Okay, bye
Bye,
everybody. Take care.
everybody.
Mwah.
Bye.
So long.